Hey guys, it's the next morning. I was out here pretty late last night. So I've got one more connection to do on these relays for the headlights. I know this is kind of a dragging thing, but you know what? Trust me, it's worth your while to do. Since I pulled the wire through already and terminated in the plug on basically the first driver side headlight, which would be the low beam on the outside, it loops through there and then it doubles out basically just like all the other headlights and taillights. So I've got my high beam here, which is the yellow, or I'm sorry, green, and then the tan, which is the low beam circuit as well. So one of them is a jump to the next set of lights, and then the other one is actually the cut end from both circuits right here. So basically I have to redo the clip or the connector, which isn't a big deal, but it should give you the confidence to do it yourself, because you don't have to redo the length, basically all of the length of the wire, because I'm always super paranoid about cutting wires too short and then having to butt connect them and all that stuff, and that just creates problems down the line, something else to find when you're troubleshooting a problem. So simply I'm just going to remove these guys with my pin or de-pinning tool, and it's pretty straightforward here. So I'm going to do the low beam circuit first. And you can use, like I've said before, you can use a little small control screwdriver, you know, small flathead, to get this done yourself if you don't have a de-pinning tool. It's kind of hard to see which side the barb is on sometimes, but it's not that hard. So I've got the bigger size of the female connectors here. There's actually two different sizes in these American Auto Wire kits, and I'm sure Painless does the same exact thing, but you basically just have to cut it and redo both sides, and then the short one will actually get a longer wire to make the connection to the relay. So let me go grab some extra wire that I saved, which is why you keep this stuff. Yeah, you want to make sure when you're doing these, you want to use the right color wire, most importantly. Secondly, when you have the excess wires from your kit, once you've cut them to length, keep those, because for this reason, you want to keep those so you have the option to continue. So you're not running a red wire with a tan wire, and then, you know, God forbid the next guy down the line is going to have a huge headache. So that's just the way I build stuff. It's, you know, if possible, there's always, you know, buying the same color wire. That's always a you know, a last ditch effort, I guess you could say. This is actually for the choke. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, so I've got my excess here. Yeah, it's just a neater installation. You know, even if you plan to keep the car, just do yourself a favor and try to keep everything. Don't wire everything in red like I've seen people do it out of necessity on the side of the road. That's fine, just to get yourself to a safe place, but try to fix it. Trust me, you'll be happier that way. Doing it right the first time is always the intention, but stuff happens. Let me go grab some connectors. I know this is pretty straightforward, but sometimes you look at these connectors and they all look the same, but you'll notice some of them are wider So that would take two conductors, or two wires instead of just one. You don't want to stack two wires on a guy like this, see how small it is? First of all, the spade connector is shorter, or I'm sorry, skinnier. And they also make both of these styles for one wire and two wires. So be mindful of that. You don't want to use this on a one wire. This would be accommodating two wires. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So there's a right connector for every application. And yeah, if it doesn't seem like it fits right, it probably isn't. There's a guy named Scanner Danner on YouTube who is an automobile electrical instructor at a college, I believe, or a high school, and he is incredible at teaching these things, and especially diagnosing problems on modern vehicles, which is super way more complicated than something like this, because the cars of today don't go to sleep, or they have to know that the doors are latched and the hood's latched, the trunk's latched in order to go to sleep. He has a lot of great insight on what to do and what not to do in this sort of thing. So check him out. I don't know the guy, honestly, but I watch his videos, and it's pretty awesome. He's helped me more times than I can count. And he doesn't know it. So give him a follow. Okay, so now gotta do the high beam and run your wires wild, meaning just leave them at their length until you have them routed where you want to go. I strongly recommend that. Give her the old tug, and here you click. So now I've got my two wires for the high and low ready to go to the relay. I'm going to plug this guy back onto the back of my headlights. I typically don't put them all the way on. I just kind of stick them on the ends of the poles just to kind of keep them in place, because they're a pain in the butt to actually get off once they're on, which is a good thing. Jeez, it's like a docudrama about a guy plugging a harness into the back of a headlight. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, they're not exactly the easiest thing to plug in either. Man, what is going on? Yeah, because the tabs on the back of the headlights they fold over so easily, or they go the wrong direction. It's not a great design, but it is as old as time. All right, we'll live with that for now. Well, that took forever. Sorry. So my OCD kicked in and I wanted to redo some of the connections on the front wiring harness. I know it's super boring stuff. I didn't want to put you guys through that. I think I've put you through enough boring stuff. But my plan is to, well, I tidied up a lot of the connections and I also omitted the, so the wiring diagram, let me show you. Sorry, more boring stuff. So it says 68 to 70 Mopar B-body front light kit. Okay, that's universal, coronets, chargers, whatever. So in my, without thinking, I ran a marker light to the corner, which are actually reflectors. So this car, the 69, does not have marker lights on the front. They're just reflectors. So I went ahead, I had already wired these, and so I went ahead to omit them, and they were jumped out here, so I had to take those out and so on and so forth. So I ended up having to tidy that stuff up. Back to the car. Had a strange occurrence yesterday. Amazon Prime driver stopped by, dropped some boxes off. Guy I'd never seen before comes up, hands me the boxes and says, "Hey, is this charger for sale?" And I said, "Well, it's not for sale, but everything's for sale." And he asked me how much I'd want for it. I told him. He didn't even bat an eye. He's like, "My dad wanted me to ask you how much you would sell it for." I'm like, "Your dad? Who's your dad?" He's, I guess I've never met his dad before, but I thought it was pretty strange. My buddy John and I were working on his motorcycle, and he asked me if I would sell this, or if anybody had ever asked me if I would sell it and how much, and I said no one's ever asked me that, because I've been just building it. And then it happens within the hour of him asking me that. I was like, wow, that's really weird. So anyway, I told him to reach out to me on YouTube and let me know who he is. But I thought it was really interesting. I'm like, that is crazy. Flattering, but crazy. Nothing ever comes to that stuff usually, but hey, you never know. Off. I still haven't decided if I want to sell this car yet. I'd like to drive it and live with it for a while first, honestly. See how I did. But it has been an expensive ride, let me tell you. I think that covers it for my wiring of the relays. The load side here, I'm not going to connect these. I'm going to pull the harness back out, wrap it up, reinstall it one more time, and then I'll land these guys. I won't bore you guys with that stuff. You'll see the outcome as soon as I get done, and on to exhaust next.